Boots Ennis is back in action this week. He's going to be stepping in there against Roiman Villa. Now, in his last fight, Roiman Villa was able to score a big upset against Rashidi Ellis. That's how he was able to get this fight, in essence. And a lot of people were really surprised by that one, myself included. Rashidi Ellis was obviously the much bigger name guy going into it. And Roiman Villa, he just, he came in there and he fought the fight that you would expect for the most part, right? He didn't really necessarily do anything that would surprise us. He was just able to go in there and he was able to execute at a level where he was able to get that victory, right? Now, when you think about this guy, what do you see? I don't know. It's not it's not very confusing. It's not very there's not a lot of layers to his game, right? He does what he does, man. He is a come forward, pressure-based fighter, and he can crack. This dude has got a lot of knockouts. He wants to come in there. He wants to throw hard. Once he gets to that inside position, he's going to work the body. He's going to work with hooks on the inside. He's going to try to get uppercuts going. Other than that, man, he's following you around the ring in a lot of regards. Doesn't necessarily have the best footwork for cutting you off. Consistently kind of brings his feet too close and has too narrow of a stance at times. He's able to get turned. I mean, the work that Rashidi Ellis was able to get done in the first 6 rounds of that fight was amazing. He was able to shine in every way that you can shine as a fighter. He's landing the jab with just consistency and so clean and so sharp. He's using his footwork and he's turning Villa all over the place. He's landing the right hand. He's landing combinations. He's going to the body when he wants. He's making dude miss with such huge margins. He's out there. He's dancing. He's shaking in the middle of the ring. Right. He's attempting to show off. Now he ends up getting dropped multiple times in the 12th round and ends up losing the fight because Villa was not to be deterred, man. He's not a man who was going to be unmotivated. He was not going to be demoralized. He was not going to allow himself to give up and quit in the face of somebody who was a better athlete, in the face of a guy who was getting off on him, in the face of a guy who was embarrassing him for the first half of the fight. Dude, he was still just there. He was doing his thing. He's tough as nails. He's strong. He's got that punch, man. He can crack. He knows that he's always in the fight. And he came in there and he put it all together and made it happen. Right? But the question is he going to be able to do that to Boots this weekend? Because if he does it to Boots, it's going to be the same thing in the sense that it was a major upset. And if he does it to Boots, he's going to do it in the exact same way. This guy isn't going to come out and all of a sudden be a boxer. He's not going to be dancing around on the outside and working the jab. He's not going to have this beautiful straight right hand that he uses from distance. He's not all of a sudden going to be able to back up and set traps and counter and everything. It's not his game. Doubt if he ever even works on that kind of stuff. He does what he does. The question is he going to be able to do it to Boots? Now, I don't think so. I really don't. And I don't think it's very controversial. I don't think I'm coming with some huge, a piece of news here. The vast majority of people expect Boots to win this fight. And they expect him to win the fight, I don't know. I mean, for the simple fact that you can look at it, in my opinion, if you just look at it and you give it the eye test, if you don't even really break down all of the technique and all of the little nuances of the game, you can pretty quickly see that he's the more talented fighter. He's far more athletic. I think he's got just as much, if not more, power. I think he's got a far better ring IQ. I think he's way more versatile. We see him fight from the outside. We see him fight from the inside. I think Boots throws combinations extremely well, but he can also play the role of a sniper and just one punch you. He comes forward, he goes backwards. Just a more versatile fighter. I mean, he's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. He's got his own sets of flaws. We saw in his last fight against Jaron that he was able to get turned himself. Didn't necessarily cut off the ring the best at times. He was following Jaron around. We saw that he was able to get caught with counter shots of his own. We saw that Jaron was able to set him up in spots in the sense of figuring out what his timing and his rhythm was and the way that he was following, and then figuring out when to turn him and at what time he's able to slip shots in and almost catch Boots off balance, right, with his weight displacement incorrect, like too much weight on his front foot, and then he was able to spring forward and he was able to get his shot off. So little things like that. Obviously Boots was able to still go out and win the fight. We know that, but just these little things that a guy like you would think Terrence Crawford could expose. Little things like that a guy like Errol Spence would be able to expose, right? Things that you can see exposed and actually worked on and preventing Boots from winning when you're fighting the very top levels in the sport, right? Things that he needs to work on. I never thought he was a perfect fighter anyways. Nobody is. It's just some stuff that he needs to do. That being said, I don't think Villa is going to be able to expose those things. He's not going to be able to back Boots up. As a matter of fact, I think Boots, in a lot of ways, is going to be able to back Villa. Maybe not right out the gate when dude's fresh and everything, but one of the differences between Boots and Ellis is the fact that Boots has got more power. I think he's going to be, especially after seeing that fight with Ellis, he's like, look, man, we can't let Villa come forward. We can't let him build momentum. We can't let him get this pressure. We can't let it be the type of a fight where I need to be moving all the time and be on my back foot, or all of a sudden I feel like this dude's going to just swarm me and start to get off, right? So there's a few different ways to stop somebody's pressure. One of the ways, you got some high energy ways, you got some low energy ways. There's whether or not you've got great footwork, whether or not you like to move, whether or not you like to use the jab, whether or not you've got, just great airtight defense from the inside. There's multiple ways to go about it. I think Boots is going to go with power. I think he's going to use the power of his offense, his punches, to really detour Villa from coming in too much. I think he's not going to fall into the trap that Rashidi Ellis did, which I think was he blew out a little bit too much energy early with all those combinations and stuff. Dude, throw more individual shots that you precisely place, right? Precision shots with real power. It's not like Villa has some kind of great defense. You're going to be able to get your punches off. Boots has faster feet. He's more athletic. He's got quicker hands. He should be able to set some shots up and get off some beautiful, clean, hard counter punches early. He should be able to go to the body early with that straight left hand and just really start to sap the strength, just hitting him like a spear down there in the pit of the stomach. So he should be able to get some great work done early. I think he's going to look very good in this fight if he allows Villa at any time to gain momentum and build pressure, get him with his back up against the ropes. That's where Villa's going to shine, and that's where he'll look his best. He'll get some shots off here and there, but ultimately he's too limited of a fighter, man. Ultimately, he doesn't have the versatility or the ring IQ to be able to get off on Boots. He's going to be behind that high guard a lot, and he's going to be get caught with some shots. And Boots can crack himself, man. So I expect Boots Ennis to come out with the victory in this one. Don't expect it to be all that controversial. Don't expect it to surprise a lot of people. The man's a highly talented fighter. We expect him to get past these fights, even though guys out there are tough, even though guys are strong. And it won't be one of the fights. It'll just be another name on his resume when it's all said and done. Because Villa isn't going to go out and all of a sudden become a world champ. It's just not the way it's going to go, in my opinion. He's a good, strong, tough fighter. He's able to beat most people in the division, but he's not able to beat the elite. And I put Boots up there amongst the elite right now. Not at the same level of a Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Don't get me wrong, right? We're not trying to get ahead of ourselves at this point. Maybe he will be one day, but he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't beat anybody like that. He still has some flaws that I mentioned. You got to beat a lot of really good fighters before you get on that level. But we have every reason to believe that Boots will be there one day. He is much younger than those guys, so he has time to develop and take over the division. And this is going to end up being another name on his resume, another really tough fight in which he had to learn and kind of grow, probably not only through training camp, but also in the fight itself. So, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Boots is going to shine in this one? Do you think there's any chance Villa is going to come off with anything? What do you think is going to be next for Boots? Should he come out with the victory? We got a lot going on at 147 pounds right now. Let me know what you guys think.